This next guest is going to be facing Matt Viviani for the Canadian Championship at IWS UnFnSanctioned on March the 2nd. Very much looking forward to welcoming the animal, Bob Anger.
Hey, how you doing? What's going on?
How you doing?
Welcome to Lethal Comics. This is where I work during the day.
This is where the magic happens.
Yeah, you bet. You bet.
How long have
so
you
how
been
you guys doing? What's going on?
We're good. We're excited to have you. I was going to say, how long have you been doing the comics beats?
Oh, geez. I've been a comic creator for 25 years. I've worked for Marvel, DC, Image, Boom, Dynamite, Dark Horse. I've done Swamp Thing, Vampirella. I had a series at Image for years. Yeah, this is my day gig. I draw comic books for big publishers in the States. And a few years ago during COVID, when everything was like shutting down, my business partner Carl and I, we started a boutique publishing company called Lethal Comics that we basically run off crowdfunding, and we write and draw our own stuff. And it's that's sort of like the business that we're moving into over the next few years to work full time. So yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Have you worked with our pal Shane Hawk on stuff? I know he's working on a kind of a guide to wrestling is one of his big projects. Do you have any involvement with that?
Yeah, I'm drawing it.
Okay, there you go. See, I actually knew the answer because we just talked to Shane yesterday. So I was setting you up for that one.
Yeah, so I did the cover, and he's gonna set that up as like his own Kickstarter through Lethal Comics. And
yes,
yeah, it's gonna be a great guide. He's already written it. I've read it. It's fantastic. So what we'll do is we'll crowdfund the production of the book, and then we can get that out there, and it's going to be awesome. Like, I've read it, and it's fantastic, and it's basically the mechanics of wrestling, and it's something we've talked about for years now, doing something like this. We'll probably get like some sort of forward by Bailey, but like, this is sort of like a dream project we've had for years, is to do like an illustrated wrestling sort of like book on how to wrestle. And I have a comic book that I do called Mother Trucker that is my own thing that I write and draw that I was working on for years, that combines my wrestling and my comic book stuff. So kind of like transitioning over to do like a how-to wrestle book just kind of like makes sense. And Shane and I have worked together on comics on and off for like the last 10 years. We worked on a bunch of WWE comics together. We did like some Jake the Snake stuff, some Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, but the one I'm most, and we did an entire backstory to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in one of the WWE issues for Boom. But the one I really love is like, and it was hard to get because a lot of people petitioned for this. We got to do the backstory to Kane and Undertaker in the mortuary when they were kids. And then we kind of like juxtaposition it with one of the WrestleManias, and it was it was awesome. It was really, really an awesome story to work on. And Shane's like a crazy talented writer. He's really a real. I'm always like, you should write comic books and work for us all the time. And but like, just writing in general, he's like fantastic at story writing, and he edits all my stuff. Fantastic story editor. So he's he does a lot with us here. It's fantastic.
Shane was telling us about the comic yesterday on an interview that airs tomorrow. And he was telling us about the concept and stuff, and he's like, it's kind of like Marvel, I guess, puts out like how to watch Marvel films. I think that's what something like that. And he's like, this is kind of the wrestling equivalent of that. Yeah. It's very, very fascinating, interesting stuff. And then he mentioned the Kane and Undertaker comic, and he's like, they passed these out at WWE shareholder like meetings. He's like, they were passing these out to like shareholder. This was like the gifts. I was like, wow. And he's like, this is super cool that like they were just passing this comic out to all the shareholders. So yeah, he showed us one of the covers that I assume you drew. Your name was on it. With Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Bryan Danielson on it and everything. And he was very proud of that cover. It's like, it's a very limited edition cover. We asked everybody the coolest thing in their room, and that's what he showed us. That was the coolest thing in his room.
I did this cover It was like a big cover for them, like a variant. It was an 11x17 of Kevin Owens when he was the US champ the first time. Remember when he was like Mr. USA?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And it's like him with the US title and like a giant bald eagle on his shoulder and like the American flag behind him. And it was like one of the super variant covers for that issue of the WWE comic for Boom. And I wanted to give it to Kevin. But when he came, like I missed him. I think I was at a Comic-Con. So when he came to the dojo, I wasn't there that day. And I gave it to Daddy Magic, who was supposed to give it to Kevin. But who knows? It might be sitting on Daddy Magic's wall right now. I don't even know if he gave it to Kevin. But yeah, it was really cool. And wrestling for me, yeah, it's like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens kind of like just left IWS and the Montreal scene as I started wrestling. So it was I just missed them. I didn't get to like really spend a lot of time with them, like like Eddie did. Like Sexy Eddie's my tag partner, and Eddie Phantom and Manny and Andrew. They got to spend a lot of time with those guys over the years, and I kind of missed that. I finally got to meet Sammy at a Battle War show like last year. It was really cool. Super nice.
I was going to ask, because we kind of brought up the WWE comic stuff. Is that like a pitch thing, or is that they come to you? Is it just a shared conversation? Like, how do you get to that point where you're doing a WWE comic book?
Well, like wrestling, comics is like a very small world. So once you've been in it long enough and you've done enough high-profile things, there's like the top 10% of comic creators, and like everyone knows everybody. Everyone knows everyone's dirt. Everyone knows what's going on. And so in that world, I'm not only like a comic creator, but then I'm like, oh, did you know he's like also like a pro wrestler? Like, it's like that. So as soon as the wrestling project happened, I was at a Comic-Con and they were telling me about the project. And I'm like, well, am I going to work on this thing? And they're like, yeah, that's why we're telling you about it. And I was like, oh, okay. And like all of the sort of stuff in comic books, for the most part, almost like in my career over 25 years, you get the gig at like a bar after a Comic-Con. Right? So you'll be at the Comic-Con showing all your stuff off. They have WrestleCons now and stuff. It's like the exact same thing. Or video game cons. This is the exact same thing. And you'll be at the bar after, and people will be telling you about something, and then it won't really, because you're in a bar, it doesn't really register. And they're like, well, are you going to work on it? And I'll be like, yeah, wicked. All right. And then you got to try and remember it the next day and follow up. So that was one of those situations. They were just going off, and I was getting all excited about all the stuff they were telling me. And then finally I was like, well, I'm going to do one. They're like, yeah, you get to do the legend stuff. Because the main storyline like revolved around Dean Ambrose and Bray Wyatt and like current people at that time. And they were doing all the back, and I was working for Image at the time, like on a monthly series. So it's not like I could like draw the whole comic. They had people for that. But as far as the 2 to 4 page backstories and all the issues, they were like, have at it. What do you want to do? And my first instinct was like, yeah, I'd love to write that stuff. But also I knew, Shane was like, he's like a super talented writer. He's obsessed with comics, and he's an absolute like encyclopedia of wrestling knowledge. So instead of like me writing it, I was like, oh, I bet Hawk would like just murder on this. I bet he'd be amazing. And he was like super cool. So yeah, it was really fun. Those comics were awesome. I wonder, I'm not sure if they're going to do more of that stuff, but I mean, I basically got into the business of making wrestling comics myself over the last few years anyway. So it's pretty exciting. And his book is going to rock. It's going to be really cool. Like, I think like pro wrestlers are going to be able to like hand it out to each other, and they'll learn a lot. Cause when it comes to psychology of wrestling, Andrew's amazing at the psychology of wrestling. Like, I remember Sexy and Eddie and I we were tag team, and we just kept losing, like just loss after loss after loss. And I was like, at one point I was like, Andrew, this like sucks. Like, we come out and the fans go crazy, and no matter what happens, we lose. But I didn't really notice incrementally they were getting louder and louder and louder as we were going. And I mean, Sexy Eddie's like way over anyway. He's like a Quebec legend, but like we just started getting way more popular with the crowd every single time. And he was like, you see, you're like the most over tag team now, but you haven't won a match. Like, so then we started winning, and it was exciting. And, you know, he was right. He knew how to build a team in the audience eyes over the span of, you know, so many things. And that psychology is like really exciting to me. So that's the book's going to have a lot of stuff like that, really understanding it. And if you're a baby face, your whole thing's fire and energy and running and going crazy. But if you're a heel, your whole thing is, you know, bringing the audience down and cooling it out. So we've almost also color coded the book. So all the baby faces are in tones of red, and then all the heels are in tones of blue, you know, to help get across that idea. It's exciting. It's really fun to work on when you think of it artistically on a page, as opposed to, you know, being in the ring and, you know, doing it. It's really, really fun.
As we switch gears to the show this weekend, big show for IWS, anniversary show, 25th anniversary show on FN-sanctioned. We got GCW involvement with the Ultimate Death. Andrew said I had to say it like that. Or else he was gonna beat me up.
Yeah, right.
That's the main event. But you're facing Matt Viviani for the title. Talk to us about this match and what fans can expect from this match and the show overall.
Matt Viviani's just like a real scumbag.
True. He was on our show. He sucked.
Yeah, he's like the worst human being. No one likes him. He keeps winning matches, but like he doesn't actually win the match. He has to get friends and all this crap. Like he's kind of a crap champion, if you ask me. So yeah, I'm gonna beat the living shit out of him. He's dead. He cut a promo on me that was so nasty about being Eddie's sidekick. I'm gonna sidekick him in his stupid face like 8 times.
He was cutting a promo on our show on Monday. He was saying, you know, I've beaten all the legends in IWS. Now they're giving me this guy. This guy is below.
Cut to the sidekick.
Yeah.
Cut to the sidekick. It's funny. Him and I like started training in the IWS together, like at the same time. And I don't think I've ever been in a match with him, but he's also never won in a match against me. Like I whoop his ass like every time. But this time I'm training because I'm like angry about his promo and cheating on you know, all my buddies, especially Eddie. Like that's not cool. Eddie's a sweet man. I don't know if you know Sexy Eddie, but he is like, despite, you know, being the sexy guy, he's actually a sweetheart. He's like a real nice guy. And you know, pouring hot sauce in his eyes is just, you know, offside. So yeah, I'm gonna whoop his ass and take his title. That shit's mine. Animals due for gold. I just keep whooping everyone's ass. I won my last like 8 matches. Like he's dead. He's dead. I'm gonna whoop his ass. It's gonna be fun. Well, you guys, if you guys are coming, you're gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna make him bleed. It's gonna rock.
I'll be watching on Fight TV. It's on Triller /Fight TV, whichever you want to call it. I will certainly be watching on March 2nd. When
By the way, how cool is that? Like,
That's great.
Yeah.
IWS is on Fight. Like that is like the coolest thing. Also, it's awesome because in indie wrestling, it was so hard to get footage of any of your matches because everyone was still in the mindset that the promoters are going to sell DVDs, right? And nothing would be on YouTube. And it used to drive me like insane. And now it's on Fight, and I can literally like right after the match go like hop on my phone and be like, "Oh, dude, where was the cameraman on that dive?"
You gotta start cluing them in.
Yeah, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. But yeah, no, Viviani, you know, he's so dead. He's so dead.
So hold on. If you beat him for the Canadian Championship, do you then become the Prime Minister of the IWS?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Let's go.
Animals Prime Minister.
What does that look like? What does that look like?
That'd be amazing. I'll declare a holiday, and we'll go back to dollar beers
Oh, what, you've won everybody over just with that, I'm sure.
That's right. You're going back to dollar beers.
Someone tried that. It didn't go over so well.
What?
Well, because so I'm the only Canadian. You and I are the only Canadians in the room. Jeremy's in Ohio, so I get the reference. Some of our chat will, but it doesn't always work that way.
I'll come down to the United States and everyone gets a dollar beer down there.
Yeah, let's go.
Do. That's
I
right.
appreciate that.
What's the big beer company in Ohio? They have one.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Ohio.
I am not a beer drinker per se. I prefer the liquor if it's anything. Yeah, I'm not a big beer drinker. So
well, bourbon is also $1. 26er for $1.
All right, now we're talking. Now we're talking.
Yeah. It's gonna be amazing. I'll do like parades all through the United States.
I respect this. I love
New
this.
Canadian Prime Minister. And I'll just like, come on down there. It'll be amazing. It'll be so good.
People might get confused with you and an animal from the Muppets, though.
Most people do.
That's the best.
That's
part.
pretty common.
Do you play drum?
That was kind of like it's really funny. Andrew, like Shane Hawk's actually the one that came up with it the first time. Like he came up with the whole idea and ran with it. And because I'm a comic guy, I was like, I can make something of this this animal business. And it was just my personality coming out in the ring. It was like that. So he was, gave me that nickname. And then I was like, okay, if I take Road Warrior animal and mix it with the animal from the Muppets, like where are we going? And like sprinkle in a little Bill Murray, I think would be like the perfect wrestling character.
Along with the show this weekend, we get the big documentary that's also being worked on. Yeah. Andrew talked to us a little bit about it, and Matt talked to us as well. They're gonna be filming a lot of stuff this weekend in conjunction with the show to highlight the 25 years of IWS. How much is, when there's like a camera on you like that behind the scenes, are you paying attention to that kind of stuff?
It depends. It's like if they're doing a documentary and they want my like attention like this, then the focus is there. But I can ignore the camera and just do my thing. It depends on what they're doing. I know that they're coming to shoot here, so from 4:30 to 8 o'clock tonight at Lethal Comic Studios, we are cleaning the hell out of this place.
Gotta make it ready.
Yeah. So they're going to be shooting some stuff here, and then on the day. And probably during the matches, I imagine they'll have cameramen out there like shooting the actual action with our cameramen. So it's going to be wild. I've like being in comics, like I've done a lot of stuff like this. I've been involved in a lot of documentaries, podcasts, interviews over the last like 20 years. So it comes very natural to me. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm Gabby.
So no, I thought your name's not Gabby. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no, but I'm chatty in interviews, so I don't have a problem with it. It's gonna be fine. It'll be exciting. It's a little surreal, to be honest. Like the thought of like this documentary happening with these guys, like the documentaries that they've done in the past, like those are big documentaries. So this is serious. This is going to be like pretty crazy. So I'm pumped. I'm super pumped. It's going to be great.
Yeah, and it's really cool because the director has worked on an MMA documentary, has worked on a powerlifting documentary. Like it's in the same sphere. So the storytelling, like you said, it's going to be intense, but it's going to be really, really cool. So like I tell you, I'm looking forward to it. I got to ask you. So you partner with Sexy Eddie. You guys are on the road often. You get to spend a lot of time together. You're the Gabby one. Is he the sensual one? So give me some Sexy Eddie stories, because people need to see a side of Sexy Eddie that maybe they've never seen before.
Well, I mean, Sexy Eddie and I will get in trouble, but I normally drive. Like I have the car, so I drive. Our conversations are normally like pretty hilarious. So it's also really funny because like when he finally told me how old he was, I was really upset because it turned out I'm 2 weeks older than he is.
Oh, no.
I was like, no, I can't be older than Sexy Eddie.
He's ageless.
But yeah. But he's a character. He's also he will never ever admit to any of this stuff. He always says, I'm terrible. He's one of the most gifted wrestlers I know. You know what I mean? Like he's the way his brain works. He's like, I don't remember anything. I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm like, being his partner for the last few years, I'm like, he's the real deal. He's amazing. There's no one in the world that can do a crossbody like that guy. Like he's brilliant. But like when we're driving around and stuff like that, this is like my impression at Eddie is like after an hour back from Ottawa, it's like, how long was I asleep for? And I'll be like, dude, like an hour. And he'll be like, no. And I'll be something like 5 seconds. And that'll happen like 8 times. But, you know, we're the same age, so we have a lot of the same interests and like, you know, saw a lot of the same stuff. And wrestling with him is just the most fun because a lot of it there's a lot of comedy elements. So during COVID, I was basically like in a bubble with Speedball. So before Speedball went to the United States, right?
Yeah.
He was keeping that knife sharp by kicking this face 8 times every Wednesday. And I learned a lot from Speedball, like just, you know, that like it was one-on-one training for, I don't know, like 2 years solid during COVID every Wednesday for hours. So I would have a match against Speedball like almost every Wednesday. And I'm not necessarily that kind of wrestler. So to learn sort of like, I guess, quote unquote, like a Japanese style wrestling that is very focused on, you know, a really tight group of movements, you know, over the course of your match. I learned a great language. And I think that was like his thing is like, after this, you'll just be able to walk into any match and like put it together like that. That was his goal. And that's what happened. But then starting to work with Eddie, right, where a lot of the stuff ends up being comedy based, is like coming from wrestling in a complete other direction. And learning that stuff is really funny. You know what I mean? Like we turned heel recently at C4 and I was like, hey, let's do, you know, your dick vacuum spot. He's like, no, we're bad guys. Can't do anything like that. That's a good guy thing. And, you know, learning like some of the comedy spots that are like good versus evil is really funny. I had my first street fight on Friday at C4. And in 8 years, I've never had like a full street fight where you're like in the ring for like a minute and the rest of it we're brawling on the outside of the arena. And that was wild. Like just almost entirely improv. Like the whole thing, if you're in a street fight, there's no, you know, I'm not, you know, whipping him, you know, into like a clothesline, into, you know, drop down, you know, pass bys, you know, none of that stuff. It's all just improv. And after the match, I just remember thinking like wrestling is so wild because there's so many different ways that you can actually do it and make it entertaining. And Eddie's been like a really great teacher for me over the years doing that stuff. And don't get me wrong, he's wild. Like, don't put us in a room with free beer. Like, it's over. It's over. And I've gotten in trouble. So, and it's hard to say who is like, he'll always run around and it's like, oh, guys, it's my fault. It's my fault. We got so crazy. And I'm like, I don't think it is. I can be as much of a troublemaker as Eddie. So, you know, depending on the situation, Eddie and I can get in trouble.
I have a write-in question from
Sure.
a S Hawk, and he says, "Is it true you refer to Shane Hawk as King Sexy?"
Yeah, he makes me.
He makes you.
It's the best answer I can give. Yeah, he makes me.
You want to elaborate at all or not? Just let that go.
Just let it go. Yeah, like him and I have been best bros for like so long. We have like all these like inside joke things that like just sort of like have created their own world. Like we refer to each other as low, and like here I'll talk about this. There's a ominous Twin Peaks figure called Dark Andy. And Dark Andy is he just kind of floats in between me and Andrew, And whenever we're doing anything horrible, we always just blame Dark Andy. And whatever happens, if Dark Andy shows up, you owe him $145. He always whines. Yeah, he's always like, give me $145. And it's really funny. So we've created like this whole world of like Foulovia. We just call everyone lowly. I think it's developing into its own comic book eventually. Like it's this like language that only Andrew and I have. It is really, really, really funny. But yeah, he likes to be called King Sexy. It makes him feel good.
Oh dear. Well, this is perfect because my last question for you is a game that we like to play on the program. It's called Partner, Promo, or Punch in the Face. I'm going to give you 3 names, and you're going to pick which one you want to partner with in a tag team match, which one you want to have a promo off with in the ring, and which one you want to punch in the face and have a singles contest. You ready?
And have a singles contest?
Yeah. Punch him in the face means you're gonna have a match 1-on-1.
No, it's not 30 counts.
You ready
Okay,
for this?
I'm ready.
All right.
Give her.
Here are your names: Green Phantom, PCP, Crazy F and Manny, and the one and only superstar Shane Hawk. Bob Anger, partner, promo, punch in the face.
Oh shit. Okay, so my choices were promo, punch in the face. What was the third one?
Tag team partner for a match.
Oh, tag team partner?
Yeah.
God damn, those guys are all scumbags.
You're welcome.
You can punch all 3. We've had that answer.
That's true.
before.
We have.
We're both pretty much baby right now, but I definitely need another really big match with Green Phantom one day.
Okay.
He
You
like
punch him in the face.
Oh yeah, like I mean, when I started wrestling in IWS, I think because of our characters and our size, Green Phantom used to just beat the shit out of me all the time. So now that I am like uber animal, I feel like revenge has always been sitting back there. So yeah. Him and I are gonna have it off again one day. But then again, we would make a crazy amazing tag team. So no, I'm gonna punch Green Phantom in the face, even though I think him and I would be like an unstoppable tag team. I will tag partner with Manny.
Okay.
But that match is going to be like really bloody. I'll probably let him do that, and I'll run away crying.
Well, you had your first 3 fights. So,
I'll be like holding his ear, like, oh, should I eat it? I don't know. I don't know if you heard. He almost got his ear cut off last year.
Right.
Like, here's your ear. I remember walking by the change room. Walking by the change room, and is like there was just blood everywhere, and like they were sewing up his ear. And I'll have a promo with Andrew. I like promos with Andrew. He's really good at them, and I love calling him Meatball. Andrew's really good at promos in the ring, and like I always thought like Animal's kind of like this meathead sort of like Terminator beast, but I always thought I always one day wished I had been on the mic a little bit more, and Andrew and I, like, talking shit to each other in front of everyone with microphones would be like really funny.
I like it.
So
I appreciate it.
There you go.
Now everyone has to go watch IWS UnFnSanctioned. It's this Saturday, is March the 2nd.
I'm gonna beat the royal shit out of Matt Viviani.
That's what I wanted to hear. It's on Fight
stupid.
TV.
He's gonna need he's gonna need a lot more than one guy running in to win this match. He's gonna need an army of cronies if he thinks he's gonna fucking take me out. He doesn't have the juice.
Tell them where they can find you talking shit on the internet.
At Andy Belanger on Instagram and Twitter, and pretty much at Andy Belanger. You can find me at all those places. And the animal exists in that world. So,
well, go check out the animal. Go check out Andy. Go follow him and check out IWS. It's going to be a fun show. Go win that title. Go win that prime minister spot.
Can you imagine Animal Prime Minister? It'd be amazing.
Let's go.
It'd be amazing. Everyone gets a fur jacket too.
Oh, let's. Oh,
I don't know what millions of animals we're gonna butcher so that everyone gets a fur jacket. It's kind of dark.
no.
I don't know.
We'll-
Maybe
we'll
create
find a
something
vegan
in
option.
a lab. I don't know.
we'll find a
dollar
vegan
beer
option for something.
fur jackets, and everyone gets a
Parades in
holiday.
America. Yeah.
Yeah,
Holidays,
yeah.
parades in
I'm parading
America.
all through America.
Wow.
All the Florida, especially, like, I think the animal would be really big in Florida. I could wear, like, get a pink outfit, be amazing. Yeah, Miami Vice animal. That'd be that's probably my like after Prime Minister animal. I'll just like move to Florida and become Miami Vice animal. That'll be pretty good.
You roll up the sleeves of your jacket and everything.
Square shoulder pads, but with like the hair.
They're coming back. They're coming back.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it.
Right on, guys. Have a good one.
Take
Thanks.
care.
Good luck this weekend.
Oh, he's dead.